Why do so many of us keep stacking year after year, even when the prices continue to go up? It's because it's not just about the money, it's the mindset, the security, and the values that are associated to it. So let's break down the mindset of a stacker in today's video. Let's go. Want to win 100 ounces of American Silver Eagles completely free? Well, in case you missed out on the first opportunity, JM Bullion is now giving you a second chance to win 5 full tubes of 100 coins packed in a custom waterproof Pelican case. There is no purchase necessary, and the newest and latest giveaway is going to end on December 11th of this year. And if you want to get in on this last opportunity, click the link in the description below for a chance to win. And again, just to be clear, JM Bullion is not sponsoring this channel in any sort of way. This is just me wanting to pass this opportunity along to help you guys out. So don't miss out on this. Click on the link in the description to enter for your chance to win 100 ounces of free silver. Hi everybody, and welcome back to yet another video. So let's break down the main psychological drivers, if you will, about what makes stacking so attractive to many of us. And I feel that they come down to 4 main categories. And let's start with the very first one, and that is going to be security and control. Having physical wealth in your hands is a unique feeling that most people probably don't get to actually experience, because nowadays, with everything being digital and convenience in that sense, having something that's real and actually physically in your hand just makes you feel a little bit more powerful than a bunch of digits on a screen telling you what you have. Now, I understand that this is the way things work nowadays, and it's good to see this stuff on paper or on a screen. It's convenient in that area, but again, there's just something unique and powerful when you're able to hold something of a real form of money. While we aren't completely in a digital asset world yet, we are still able to hold fiat currency as a form of a physical, quote, asset. Now, I think we all agree that despite the dollar being less and less attractive each year, it is still an asset by definition, because the world still functions off of it, even though we think it's a scam. And as a result of this mindset of a failing fiat system, the second driver is the independence factor that you get when you disassociate yourself from the normal system. And as I mentioned before about having that security and the control, by default, you separate yourself from the current system, and you don't need to rely on banks, the government, or anything else to provide anything, because these assets are a store of value. And even though they are priced via the futures contracts and everything's digitized, if the digital world fails for whatever reason, you still now have something that most people don't, a physical product that can't be taken away from you due to technological failures. And even if we don't live long enough to see that happen, we are able to, by the third point, pass down something that's tangible to our family and continue the legacy and responsibility of our efforts. Now, I know not everyone will view this the same way that we do, and a lot of the times people probably don't want something that's going to take up space, or they don't even care for precious metals. It's an old person's hobby or interest, so it ends up just being sold off, and that's just going to happen. That's just how life works. But I believe that if we continue to educate our family members and discuss things and the importance of a dying fiat system and how that can impact society and affect everybody directly, that continuation mindset can be passed down to future generations, or at the very least bring more people into the hobby, or the investment for that matter. And if you add everything that I just mentioned together, you get the final driver, which is an identity and a sense of belonging. And as stackers, we create a small community with similar values and belief systems that actually forms kind of 2 intentions into one. The first being we are a group of hobbyists who love collecting all varieties and types of gold and silver or what have you, from anything from modern coins to numismatics. And secondly, it is an investment mindset where we see the writing on the walls and we see what the future is going to bring to us with a dying fiat system, and we want to prepare for that, which, when you combine those two, makes us a stacker. And the great thing about all of this is we get to combine those 2 things. We can participate in a hobby that we enjoy, that has a benefit and a sense of fulfillment, By the same token, it is also has some sort of an investment outcome or opportunities alongside it. And when it comes to whichever precious metal you do choose, whether that's gold, silver, platinum, etc., there is a sense of satisfaction of holding something real. Now, I personally believe that gold and silver should make up the main group of metals that you have, and the other metals should be secondary, but either way, that's just my opinion. I'm sure whichever group that you find yourself into, whether you're a platinum stacker, a palladium stacker, a copper stacker, whatever it is, you will have a peace of mind knowing that it can help you during uncertain times. And in some ways, stacking is almost like a form of therapy or a grounding from the chaos and the ridiculousness that we have to endure day in and day out. Now, I know there are some misconceptions out there about us stackers, and I think we should address that too for a bit, because stacking is not just about being a doomsday prepper. And I think these are separate areas, but they do have some overlapping concepts, and I'm not going to deny that. But the real reason is because when we think of preppers, we think of having some long-term food, water, power, survival gear, or complete independence and off-grid capabilities that allow us to self-isolate enough to be survivable on our own. And that is an entire different concept, and having precious metals is just a small section in that category that tends to just get blown out of proportion and hyper-focused on. And I would argue that most stackers just see precious metals as an investment, not a SHTF or a doomsday prep concept. Now, when it also comes to investments, I think most stackers and the true diehard ones will not sell out. But some of them do due to necessity or needs, and I completely understand that. But there's also a group that does it for when they see or recognize a shift into potential other opportunities. And there are some out there that do make up a good portion of stackers, quote, that are mainly focused on the profits. And while there's nothing wrong with that, but I personally believe that the true stackers don't care about the price or the profits. They dollar cost average, and they will try their hardest to never sell. Those who just get in and out quickly are just not true stackers in my opinion. So why does having a long-term focus matter? Well, it's the consistency even during the boring times. While the metals are having breakout price levels, which seem to be like every single day, we still look to exchange our fiat for metals consistently and constantly. And I also believe that Gresham's law is one of the driving factors behind all of this. And in case you're not familiar with it, the concept is bad money drives out good money. Essentially, our fiat, our dollars, is the bad money that is driving out good money, like gold and silver, essentially to be removed from the system and go into hiding. So until that cycle breaks, silver and gold will always be in demand. And some people think that these are a little bit outdated. It's an old thing from thousands of years ago, but the economic principle of Gresham's law will prove otherwise. And eventually we will be on the right side of the argument or the investment decision into the future, but that is just my opinion. So therefore, stacking isn't just financial, it's a mindset and a lifestyle combined into one. I personally believe that this is going to be the right choice for fun and for investments. And there are a very small, if any, negatives that actually can come out of that. So let me ask you guys this. What's your main reason for stacking? Is it for security, profits, for legacy, or is it for something else? Let me know in the comments what you think. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye, guys.